Okay, we're going to be pulling, putting some beads on this bottle now. And, the thing is this edge right here is not something you can actually dimension from because it's part of a sweep. It's formed because of a sweep. So, you can't really use it as a reference per se, because it's not going to be I guess a stable entity or what have you. I don't know. But at any rate, we had to do the same thing we did with that other thread. Draw a line in the middle and do a diametral dimension. From here to the center line we drew, and um, also had to select both of these circles here, and then hit convert entities, and basically it resulted in these two lines here. So, in other words, it flattened the thing to the plane we're drawing in because we're slicing right through the bottle, as you can see. So, anyway, that was kind of interesting, but I converted those to construction lines. So, we drew this circular arc, and everything's fully defined now just with these dimensions that you see. Because basically the side of this bottle though has spline-like characteristics, so that's why we're having to embed this in there and then just use an offset dimension for it. And I wanted to say, he was talking about the idea that why didn't we use this sketch? Well, because of the fact that it's part of the sweep operation, and which is kind of pretty obvious if you think about it, that you can only reuse sketches so much because they get wrapped up, and subsumed into these other operations. So if you go draw another shit on them, a lot of times that other shit will actually, it'll actually, the operation it's subsumed into will try to apply it. So, because, like you found out, a lot of times you can't individually select elements of a sketch. So really, most of these operations, even though it sucks, one of the safer ways to do it, is to have a separate sketch per feature, if the features are going to be done differently. So, okay, but now we're applying the revolve command on it, so you can see what the end result is. So, I'm surprised he didn't make this tangent, but I guess sometimes those aren't like that. Of course, a glass bottle, how precise are they going to be? Hell, I don't know how they manufacture glass bottles, but anyway. Trying to analyze what would happen, to these elements, if we ever change the shape of the bottle itself. Now, since this is defined on these two construction lines are projections of these two circles here. If these two circles ever change in diameter, this bead here will move, either in or out. However, if the thickness of this changes, since we defined a hard radius of that, well, I guess the radius would be the same, but its position here would change. Like if this got narrower, this bead might get fatter because it's trying to maintain the same radius. Now, as far as this is concerned, these are fixed elements. The radius is fixed, and this little offset is fixed, to the center based on this dimension. So, that kind of fixes the geometry, given the fact that that's a fixed distance and that's a fixed radius, I would imagine. And its distance is fixed, so if you ever change the number of threads and decided to move this thing down, you might have problems because you'd have to come back and edit this dimension, to make this move down further, because it's still not parametric to any other feature except for the edge of this bottle. So, so that wouldn't change, if you want to increase the thread, you'd have to come edit this directly, which is, I guess, okay. But, the problem I have is this diametral dimension right here. Okay, because this is based on, this is a fixed dimension based on this center line to achieve a diameter. Okay, it's not a function, of the size of the bottle, so like I said, really, I don't know, you know, you'd really want like a coincident relationship with this, you know, to actually maintain it, because if we ever change the diameter of this bottle, we would want this to automatically change because it could cause a failed operation. So really, this should have been positioned instead of based on the center line. You know, the center line at least makes it so it adjusts. Um, but I mean, because it's always referenced to the center. But you know, the point is, if this diameter ever really does change, well, you're going to have to come back here and change it too, and this is going to have a different diameter. Uh, you know, numeric diameter than the whatever you use to change the diameter of this bottle opening. So, you know, but again, if you change the diameter of this bottle opening, this will move, this won't. So, you know, really this should be keyed on this because this will move, um, you know, when this wouldn't. So that's another thing you'd have to come back and edit. So anyway, it's just interesting. You know, I imagine this could be made, you know, formulaic. You know, in other words, you could put a formula in there that is based on the number of threads or something, so this will change, you know, increase or decrease depending on the number of threads. You know, that could theoretically be done. But anyway, it's just an interesting case study, you know, trying to figure out, you know, what this guy did and what the ramifications would be.